Welcome to Share the Knowledge. Welcome to the Share the Knowledge. In our today's video, we will discuss mesh analysis for DC circuits as well as AC circuits. In our previous videos, we come across with KVL and KCL, star delta transformations, sinusoidal representations, and calculation of complex impedances for various circuits like RL, RC and RLC, series and parallel circuits. In today's video, we are discussing the mesh analysis. Mesh analysis is the analysis where you can calculate the loop currents or mesh currents. By using those things, we can calculate the current through a particular branch. Here the condition to applying mesh analysis is if you're in a circuit, if you're having more number of voltage sources, it is easy to apply the mesh analysis. In a similar fashion, if you have the more number of current sources, it will be easy to apply the nodal analysis. Anyhow, there will be a source transformations, that means voltage source to current source and current source to voltage source transformation is also available. Okay, so depending upon the complexity of network, we are choosing which analysis is the best one. Okay, in the similar fashion, now this can be applied for AC as well as DC sources also, but the only limitation for this mesh analysis is it is applicable only for the planar circuits. It will not be applicable for non-planar circuits. That means whatever the circuit, if you are able to represent on a plane, okay, on a plane, it will be applicable. Even if you are having the number of meshes or anything, it won't matter. The only drawback is if your circuit is non-planar. That means the branch is connected between, if I'm assuming this, the branch is connected from here to, if the branch is connected from point A to E, that means it won't be connect planarly. It may come across or cut one more branch like this. So whatever this overlapping of any circuit, overlapping of any branch, it won't be allowed. Okay, so this mesh analysis does not apply for non-planar circuits. It will be applied only for the planar circuits. Okay, so a part of this, this is nothing but simply you applying your KVL. So if I am having one source, you may consider either DC source or AC source. The only difference is representation of your source. If you are having the DC, we just represented with the magnitude. If you are having the AC, we are represented with the magnitude as well as angle. Apart of that, remaining everything will be similar. Okay, so this is my circuit. To apply mesh analysis, you may consider the current direction in the way you like. There is no compulsion of you must assuming the current directions either in clockwise or anti-clockwise. There will be no compulsion like this. Okay, only thing is the notations must be considered. In perfect way. Okay, so here I am just assuming the circuit where I am having the two meshes here. So the mesh currents will be I1 and I2. I am assuming the current directions for my ease of convenience as clockwise direction. Okay, I am assuming in terms of clockwise directions. Otherwise, you may assume that anti-clockwise directions. Depending upon your current directions only, if you are having any minus term, it will be say the assumed current direction will be opposite. Okay, so it is just our assumption. Okay, so most of them, the way of representation will be differ. I just follow one notation. If I am considering this one a DC, okay, if I am considered this one as DC, where my arrow mark, where my current direction touches first, I will consider that. Okay, so for my ease of convenience, I'm just representing the resistances. Okay, so where my arrow mark touches, I'm giving the voltage magnitude. Okay, so it touches negative, plus, so current I1 and R1. So I am applying here, this is KVL, already you know, it is nothing but sum of voltages and voltage drops equals to 0. Okay, and here when you come this branch, because I am talking this mesh 1, here this one we are talking about mesh 1, so it is okay. So I1 current is flowing there, I1 to R1 drop, and when you come this one, when you coming to the R2 branch, I1 current is flowing downstream. Okay, it will comes downstreams, and I2 current is flowing upstreams. The only direction is I am following the I1 direction. So when I go with this I1, the final current will be difference of I1 minus I2. Okay, so it equals to 0. So applied voltage and drops equals to 0. This is for this is corresponding to the mesh 1. When I go with the mesh 2, there is no source. Only one source is applicable. Again, if I go with the I2, now I2 current direction is from downstreams. So the final current of I2 in R2 is I2 minus of I1 plus I3 I2. So now I get the relation in terms of I2 and I1. So if I calculate these two, I will get the I1 and I2. Okay, so this is the case when I go with the DC. In the similar fashion, if I go with the AC, nothing changes. Here itself I am having the magnitude as well as angle. So whenever I am having this angle, I can change this angle in terms of A plus IB format. In your AC circuits, there may be a chance of having your inductor as well as capacitor components. Okay, so there you have the magnitude as well as imaginary equations. So this is the way how to calculate your mesh analysis. It is nothing but simply your applying KVL. Mesh analysis is nothing but applying the KVL, but the only limitation for your mesh analysis is it won't apply for non-planar circuits. Okay, so this is regarding the mesh analysis. If any circuit, so again I will draw one more circuit. So if I am considered any circuit where a current source in between the meshes, that mesh we call it as super mesh. The analysis of this super mesh is nothing differs the whatever the current difference. If I am assuming it as an I1 and I2, okay, I1 and I2, I just assuming the difference of the current will be equals to the magnitude of our current source, okay. By opening your current source, the current in this branch will be 0. Then we assuming the total equation of the circuit. Again I will write the equation. Okay, it will be V minus V. Okay, so I just follow one notation, it is easy for me, plus I1 R1 plus R2, here R2 and R4 is in series, so I am directly this one, and I2 equals to 0. Again I will calculate what is the I1 and I2. This is the case in the mesh analysis. So here I come across with a problem. So in the given problem they are asked what is the power dissipation of 4 ohms resistor in the circuit, and they ask us to find out using the mesh analysis. If you look at this circuit, we are having 2 sources and this is the required branch. They asked what is the power dissipation. We know that the power dissipation nothing but V into I. So to find out the power dissipation in 4 ohms resistor, the current will be in whatever the direction you assume, it may be an either I2 minus I3 or I3 minus I2, whatever the thing. Okay, so this is the current. Okay, so to find out this, we require to find out what is the I2 and I3 currents. For ease of my convenience, we are assuming the current directions in clockwise direction, and we are writing the loop equations. So as this is an DC voltage, simply we are applying the KVL. So minus 50 plus okay, so minus 50 plus 5 into I1 and 3, this is the direction we are assuming, so 3 into I1 minus I2. So this is the first equation, whereas coming to the second equation there is no sources, so 3 into I2 minus, because I am going with the I2 direction, I2 plus 2 in I2 current only flowing through the second 2 ohms resistor, whereas coming with the 4 ohms resistor, I2 minus I3. Whereas coming to your third mesh, we are having one more source, so 4 into, I am going with the I3 current, so I3 current direction, I3 minus I2 plus 6I3, and the arrow mark touches the positive direction, so plus 10. So if I am writing all the 3 equations, I will get the relation in terms of I2 and I3, and from I2 and I3, if I am substituting remaining 2, I will get the values of currents. In the circuit they asked for what is the power dissipation. So for the power dissipation, I square R. So here this is the current. If you observe this, there will be a negative direction, so the current of I3 will be in this format. So the final current through the 4 ohms resistor is, because I3 current I am getting as negative, so whatever the direction I am assuming, it is opposite way. So this is the way. So the final current for 4 ohms resistor is I2 from this side and I3 from this side. So the overall current will be this one. And this is the final answer. Okay. So this is the mesh analysis in case of DC circuits. This. Okay. Here also the same thing. Calculate the mesh analysis. By using the mesh analysis, calculate the currents. But in the given circuit, they mention source as AC voltage source. And if you observe here, I am having the inductors. So the way of representing your KVL equations differs nothing. It never differs. Okay. So but just observe the way how you are writing. So the similar fashion how to you write for your DC circuits, in the similar fashion we are going to write. So minus 5 angle 0 plus I1 into J4 and 6 into, I am going with I1 current in direction, I1 minus I2, and second mesh I am didn't having any source, 6 into I2 minus I1 and J3 multiplied by I2 and 2 into I2. Once I get this one, I will separate the real and imaginary terms in terms of, with the variables of I1 and I2. Once I got these equations, I will try to get the variable of I1 in terms of I2. Okay. After getting that, I am replacing in another circuit. I am replacing in the another equation. This is the equation number 1 and this is the equation number 2. So I am replacing two in 1. Here the only thing, in place of I1 I am replacing with 8 plus J3 by 6. So if I am replace this one, this will gives you 8 into 6 plus J into J will be negative value of 12. Okay. So I am just multiplying this with this. So 6 into 8. Okay, 6 into 8. Up to here I am getting the real values. When getting for the imaginary values, 18 plus 32 by 6. This is the fashion. Okay, minus 6. So this is minus 6 is the real value if you want this. So once you got this one in A plus JB format, for division A plus B JB format won't be allowed. So just okay. So try to convert A plus JB into angle and divide with 0. So when you are having single real value, it will be angle 0. If you are having any negative J terms, it will be 90 degrees. Once I calculate this one in angle and after performing the division, this is the value in terms of magnitude and theta. One thing I will say, to perform arithmetic operations of addition and subtraction, it is easy with A plus JB format. For multiplication and division, A angle theta will be easy. So to perform your arithmetic operation, try to convert this one into real and imaginary values. After getting this, here you are having the imaginary value of j. So try to convert, if you convert this one into theta, a magnitude and theta, it will be 90 degrees. So when denominator, so to divide this, magnitude will be divided, angles will be subtracted. Here one thing, to divide the angles, it will be theta 1 minus theta 2. At the same time, to multiply the angles, it will be the theta 1 plus theta 2. Magnitudes will be follows the arithmetic, either division or multiplication, but angles will be either subtracted or added. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the way to calculate I2, and similar fashion, if you replace the I2 value in the I1 equation, you will get the current of I1. Okay, and these are the planar, non-planar circuits where you are having the crossovers, these will be your non-planar circuits. For these circuits, mesh analysis will not be applicable. Okay, so till now we just come across with the mesh analysis for the DC circuits as well as AC circuits. Okay, when you go with the complex circuits, having the number of loops, there you can directly apply your Cramer's rule, which you use in matrices to calculate your I1, I2 and I3 currents. So it is somewhat easier if you perfect with those calculations. So this is the last problem where you can see the how to solve mesh analysis. Okay, so for this mesh analysis, I'm just considering this circuit. In the circuit, they ask you to determine the 5 ohms resistor, current in the 5 ohms resistor. I just want to here mention one point. In most of our competitive exams or regular exams, they won't mention in which analysis we have to calculate to determine the currents in your circuit. We are having n number of methods. You can go with mesh analysis or nodal analysis, or you can go with your superposition theorem, which we can discuss in later classes. So they won't mention. If they mention particularly through this, we have to follow that. Okay, so most of the cases they won't mention. Okay, so the only way to recognize us if they didn't mention any analysis, by looking at our circuit. Okay, if you look at your circuit, if I am having the more number of voltage sources, it is the indication that you can carry out your work with your mesh analysis. Otherwise, if I am having the current sources, more number of current sources, then it is the indication you can carry over with your nodal analysis. Otherwise, if it is difficult to carry the current sources, there will be source transformations. So if by applying your source transformation, you may convert your current source into voltage source or voltage source into current source as per the requirement. Okay, and by looking this circuit, I am able to apply my mesh analysis, but the only difficulty is there is a current source. Actually, I already stated mesh analysis was only for the voltage sources, but the only difficulty is in between the meshes. There is one current source. By looking that, I will say that this is a super mesh. This is not the normal mesh analysis. This is the super mesh analysis. Okay. Otherwise, I can't say. Otherwise, I won't say this one, as I can go with the nodal analysis to calculate. Okay, it is a mesh analysis. Directly it is visible because it is having the source of voltage and clearly it is meshes. But the only difficulty is it is having some current source in between the meshes. So to eliminate that one, okay, in first case, just eliminate this mesh and write your loop equations. So for this loop there is no problem with this current source, so directly I can write. So I can write this one as minus 50 plus I'm going this 10 ohms resistor, I1 current direction, so I1 minus I2, again 5 ohms resistor. So I'm seeing this circuit in this mesh only, okay, plus 5 into I1 direction, I1 minus I3, okay. So this is my first equation, and whereas coming to this is the super mesh because in between, so whatever the current directions, this is the direction of I2, this is the direction of I3, so I2 minus I3 will be my 2 amperes, so 2 amperes is in this direction, so I2 minus I3 is 2 amperes, okay. So by leaving this 2 amperes, I will write the total mesh equation. Here, okay, whatever the super mesh equation is there. So in the 10 ohms resistor, I2 minus I1 and 2 amperes I2 current. Because of opening this, no current will be flown, so directly I3 plus 5 into I3 minus I1, okay. So once I am writing the equations, I will substitute the terms, in place of I2 or I3 I will get common terms and I will calculate what is the I1 and I2 and I3. Once I will calculate I1, I2 and I3, I will find out current through the 5 ohms resistor, either I1 minus I3 or I3 minus I1, depending upon the value I will calculate this one. This is the way how to calculate your super mesh analysis. So I want to give only one point here, just go with the theorem. So the way of applying your theorem is same for both in AC as well as DC. So if you study a theorem perfectly, that means you can able to apply the same theorem in AC and DC, okay. So in this mesh analysis we study the mesh analysis for DC circuits, AC circuits and super mesh, okay. So by this I will conclude the session. Thank you. Thank you for your support.